I really didn't have a life of my own. It was all about giving to everyone else. My life was a diabetes disaster. And in one word, I think it's looking back at this journey that goes back to 2003 when I was diagnosed, I would describe it as my own personal life's war zone. I fought getting on insulin for the longest. I went from resisting medication to refusing medication and to over medicating. It's not just diabetes that I was dealing with. Now it's, you got to take this to protect your heart. You got to take this to protect your kidneys. You got to take this. And I was so overwhelmed with everything that was being thrown at me. I oftentimes would just stop. So I went from a life of oral meds, glipizide, glyburide, metformin, to regular insulin, to insulin plus long-lasting insulin, to finally, I was on concentrated insulin. I started with maybe 5 to 7 units of concentrated insulin. I think by the time I ended up with you, Gina, I was on the upwards of 65. It was an eye-opener when I finally really learned what I was on. And what I think about is I was on such a high dose of insulin and my sugars were still really high. The turning point for me really was becoming a grandparent. Oh my God. There's no love like a grandparent's love. And I felt so like I got a second chance to be here for my kids, to be there for my grandkids, because I was working and I was single. And so I didn't have that time, and I just fell in love. I fell in love with my kids and I needed to be here. I knew I needed to be here. I needed to be around. And I said, God, if you get me through this, I promise I'm going to give you everything I got to start doing this right. I think before I found you, I lost hope. I felt like I was just throwing in the towel and I was just going to continue to medicate myself however I needed to. And and then being the warrior woman that I am is like, I'm not, I really felt like I've surrendered to diabetes. This is my life. But then I was like, I got to beat this. I'm a warrior at heart. I got to do this. I do remember getting off, little bits at a time and my body like readjusting. And you just, help me to understand that my natural insulin is working and it's, getting used to the change. It was scary, I'd have to admit, but I just started to feel like, okay, this is working. And it gave me the light and the little bit of hope really that I needed to keep pushing. Everything has shifted and our marriage is evolving and my relationships with my grown children are evolving and my relationships with my grandchildren are connecting and evolving. And it's, I'm so, so blessed. I'm so glad. I can't tell you enough that I found Gina, the one for me. And this comes from my heart, Gina. You don't know. Again, I researched you and I researched a lot of people and I just knew when I talked to you, but finding a good coach and someone in your corner who is knowledgeable, who is informed, who's experienced, who doesn't judge you, because it's possible. It's so possible. I've kept a journal all this time and I look at how much insulin I was on and how much I didn't need to be on. I was like, I would never imagine, never, that I could be this free.